Are 65 or older and live in Springdale, your water rates will soon be locked in to a certain point. Now, the Springdale City Council this week approved freezing water and sewer rates for senior citizens. It all starts in the next billing cycle. 5 News reporter Laura Castleman is in the studio now with more on how this is all working. Laura?
Yes, Darren, senior citizens 65 or older who are on the CARDS discount trash program will have a fixed sewer rate of $19.55, and water rates will stay at $14.80 a month. Water is essential to everyone, and in Springdale since last October, the city has been working to do something about it.
It could mean a tank of gas. It could mean some extra groceries at some point.
Anyone 65 or older is eligible for the rate freeze, and Ward says if you've already signed up for the CARDS trash discount, you're in.
People who aren't enrolled in the CARDS program will have to self-identify and present a valid ID in order to get that rate freeze. Under the freeze, the first 1,000 gallons is included in the minimum bill. And so any usage above that will be at a regular rate.
Springdale Water Utilities Executive Director Heath Ward says it would be rare for the average senior citizen in Springdale to hit that limit. With 1,000 people automatically signed up, Ward says he expects thousands more.
Could be as many as 3,000 to 4,000 people.
When you look at it realistically, the senior citizens have been paying for that all their lives at this point. So my feeling was that they deserve an opportunity to try to get a little break.
City Councilman Mike Overton says the total cost, assuming everyone 65 or older applies, will be $449,000 a year, which he says is a small price to pay.
Three quarters of the City Council supported the ordinance. And it was, I thought it was important to try to help some of our senior citizens that are on fixed income.
I know people who would like to know every month exactly what their bill is going to be.
Lou West and Christina Coleman are Springdale residents and say as senior citizens, this will help them.
In planning and knowing what you have extra to spend, like I said, on the grandkids or some, unexpected medical bill comes up.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry. You don't have to make a decision. Is it medical or is it utilities?
The majority of the council felt strongly that our senior citizens deserved just a little break. And it will be significant to some folks, and that's important.
Now the freeze will remain in effect until 2029. If you haven't signed up, you can contact the Springdale Water Utilities or go there in person. Laura Castleman, 5 News.
All right, Laura, thanks. Arcoma and Pecola Police Departments joining forces today to show students the dangers of drinking and driving. A DUI reenactment was staged today to drive the message home ahead of prom season. Police officers say the goal is to leave a lasting impression and encourage students to make safe choices.
It's very important that our children know, like, drinking and driving is not something that they need to fall into, that there is consequences with it, and sometimes, it's the worst of the worst, and we just don't want them to get up in that and then go down a wrong path before they even become adults.
The air evacuation team from Fort Smith was also on hand today for today's reenactment. Arkansas State Police investigating after the death of a Washington County inmate who stopped breathing while being released from jail for hospice care. The family tells us they were fighting for James Gore to be moved to hospice after he was jailed on several felony charges. Gore was diagnosed with glioblastoma in 2025 and had surgery to remove a tennis ball-sized tumor. He was arrested this month for allegedly stabbing his wife and an at-home health care worker. Family and friends say Gore's condition had impacted his judgment the night of the alleged incident and that his behavior had never been violent before.
But he was never aggressive.
To that extent.
He might be words, but he was never ever aggressive to...
No, he was stern and opinionated, but he wasn't violent or mean.
He was never violent.
No, he wasn't about being violent.
We also reached out to Deputy Prosecutor Dennis Dean. He says they had concerns about releasing Gore to the public, citing risks to safety despite his cognitive state. Dean added that Gore was denied admittance to a lockdown facility, and because of that, he was kept in jail.
Position was that he posed a threat to the safety of others, and that although there definitely were some mental health or health issues that could have precipitated this crime, his behavior still could not be controlled.
Arkansas State Police began their investigation, and we have requested files in regards to the circumstances surrounding Gore's death. We'll keep you updated online and on air as we learn more in this process. There ended the death of a man whose body was found near the Arkansas River in Crawford County. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation says 48-year-old Nathan Curtis is the sixth person now arrested for the crime. Curtis is charged as an accessory after the fact in the murder of Derek Marshall. Danny Goad is facing a first-degree murder charge in this case. The four other people you see here are accused of being accessories. All six suspects charged in connection with Marshall's murder are being held tonight in Sequoyah County. New tonight, the Cuban Coast Guard says it killed 4 people today aboard a speedboat that's registered out of Florida. Cuba claims the boat was carrying Cubans living in the U.S. trying to infiltrate the island. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is gathering its own information about what happened and determine if any U.S. citizens were on board. Situation comes as the U.S. has an oil blockade on the communist nation that is located just 90 miles off the U.S. coast. President Trump's picked to be the Surgeon General facing tough questions today on Capitol Hill. Dr. Casey Means faced questions about her stance on vaccines, pesticides, and birth control. Sherrill Hubbard has more now from today's Senate hearing.
In her opening remarks Wednesday, President Donald Trump's nominee and RFK Jr.'s ally, 38-year-old Dr. Casey Means, made her pitch for becoming America's top doctor, Surgeon General.
Nothing is more urgent than restoring wholeness for Americans, physically, mentally, and societally. We are now the most chronically ill, high-income nation in the world.
Means spent a considerable amount of time Wednesday being grilled by senators, namely over vaccines. She would not directly answer a question regarding flu vaccines.
Do you believe that there's no evidence that the flu vaccine has efficacy in reducing serious injury or hospitalization? This is an easy one, doctor. This is an easy one.
When questioned further about childhood vaccines, she deferred to it being a conversation for doctors and their patients.
Would you encourage her to have her child vaccinated?
I'm not an individual's doctor, and every individual needs to talk to their doctor before putting a medication in their body.
Another point of contention, her credentials. Means did not complete her residency, and her medical license has lapsed, saying she has no plans to reactivate it.
Something that is going to be hard, I think, to be able to justify what a new vision is when you don't really even sort of have a sense of what the old vision is in your daily practice.
I'm Sherrill Hubbard reporting.
I do look forward to working with you.
Hillary Clinton is scheduled to testify before the House Oversight Committee tomorrow about her interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. They'll also be speaking to former President Bill Clinton on Friday. White House visitor logs show Epstein visited multiple times during the Clinton administration. President Clinton flew on several times on Epstein's plane. Former president has maintained that Epstein was involved in his philanthropy after he left office. Members of the House Oversight Committee spoke to reporters today about the types of questions they plan to ask the Clintons.
We obviously want to hear from President Clinton. I think that anyone that has information about Jeffrey Epstein or spend any time with him, I think it's important to ask questions. I mean, personally, I think one of the things that we've been hearing a lot about lately is whether Jeffrey Epstein had any sort of foreign ties, whether there were any sort of, we've seen any sort of wealth from foreign governments. I think that's also a unique space where the former president might be able to be helpful. And I want to hear if he has any information about Jeffrey Epstein, about his associates, about co-conspirators, and certainly if he's familiar with any of the sort of how Jeffrey Epstein was able to accumulate so much wealth.
Both depositions will be held behind closed doors and will not be televised. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says they do expect, though, to release videos and transcripts of the testimony by sometime next week.